In 1980, Manchunian post-punk art pop band The Passage released their first full album, Pindrop, on Object Music, and from it the track Carnal.
He said, since I saw you, since I met you, I've been craving to carry through what the Bible calls love. Since I touched you, since I held you, I've taken aim, I've stared and hugged you, I want it all. You think you know what's coming next, oh it's nothing cruel. I hate a mess, but you know the rules, same every time, always bodies, never minds, it's the way of the world.
Basically like an auto harp going on, at full speed amid that really, really low piano.
There's always a hunter, always a pet, active, passive, leader and led, burner and bird. She said, I know about words, I've seen some before. They fall out of the mouth and bump into walls. You picked up the pieces.
I love that sparkly, foggy keyboard sound amid that transmission, rhythmic feel.
Joyful with blue. I don't trust words. I don't trust you. He said, don't get me wrong, I'm here to help. You like romance, I've seen you melt. You're full of flaws. I don't need love, I don't need sex. I want the fraud when nothing's left. Suffer now, have it later. I'll take the lead, your second nature. Look at dogs and books and drawers. She said it's just love, 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 Carnal. It's just love, 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 Carnal.
Very being very rhythmic in his vocal cadences, and I just love how that bass was interacting with that low piano, forming this ostinato amid the swirling keyboards and that hyperactive auto harp.
It's just love, 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 love. He said, don't get me wrong, I'm here to help. You like romance, I've seen you melt. She said, what you say, what you mean when you talk about sex aren't the same things at all. You mean a state of effects. You think you need me around so we can share being alone, but you hate half and half. To you, you are what you own. We said we know the rules, the same every time, always bodies, never minds.
I looked up the lyrics but couldn't find them anywhere, and I regret it now because there's a lot of words going by, rapid fire. The few words I can make out sound kind of interesting. His vocals, of course, are tracked very remotely, kind of distant in the fog of that, particularly that keyboard, while the piano seems to be the most trebly, accented instrument on this.
There's always a hunter, always a pet, active, passive, eager and led.
Always a hunter, a pet, active, passive. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these lines are pretty loaded.
Said it's just love, 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 Carnal. It's just love, 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 Carnal. It's just love, 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 love.
That was Carnal by The Passage, and we had some very persistent percussive elements in there by a classical player, Dick Witts, the mastermind behind this band. Yeah, he played with the Manchester Orchestra, and I have heard this act, the old Trouser Press record guide said that they were like a cross between Soft Machine and The Fall. No, actually it was maybe Sounds that said that. The Trouser Press described them as a midway between Weather Report and Gang of Four or Wire. Yeah. I, I can hear definitely some abrupt rhythmic passages in this. Some like contrapuntal or elements going on, like different layers going on that you can follow. There's also like a somewhat taut manner, like definitely in the vocals and uh, certain not necessarily this song, but there are some songs like on like their first couple of EPs where there'll be these beats that just like go on like ba 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 ba. That seems to be like the rhythmic equivalent to the buzz saw. So some like droney effects, some elements that are kind of a bit murkier, while others are more trebly and kind of upfront. Yeah, let's hear another track from the album, 2711. Kind of a shivery, minimal wave, cold wave feel. I love the that one chord we landed on. It was like G6. Yeah, G with an open E, I believe.
Away from the counter displays, the silver designs, the white gowns, the glass. Don't handle those bottles, they've got foreign names. I've heard they're full of electricity gas.
Okay, he's going for like either a real lucid vocal track here, or there may be some limitations in the mixing and the production. I don't know.
It looks just like water, but I think it's cold glow. Don't let it get out, it'll never leave you alone. It poisons the air, it turns into stone.
A great track with a lot of like tonal, with potential for some really great tonal color. I think is only partially being realized. There are quite a few layers that are just too murky, I gotta say, for their own good.
It's covered in boxes, they hide it in jars. It's wrapped up in redwoods, tinsels and stars. And that's what it's for, pretty camouflage.
I believe I'm hearing maybe a 60s organ sound that's being fed through some echoey pedals or. Yeah, they're going for like a real murky, hazy sound on a lot of the layers anyway. And I'm not necessarily certain if that's a stylistic choice for this album, something they were experimenting, trying to make certain elements sound ghostly, apparition-like, and others like maybe the rhythmic quality is a bit more frontal. Or if it was down to sonic limitations. The first couple of EPs weren't quite like this. They were a bit more spiky and jagged, and some of the later stuff wasn't quite this murky. closely, I'm realizing these are just like loaded with lyrics. I could only wonder what they're singing about here when, yeah, he just is like nonstop. Let's see if the lyrics, because I looked up Carnal, I didn't see it. And huh. Yeah, I'm not seeing any returns on this one either. I'm wondering, did the no, the inner sleeve didn't seem to press them either. Let's just hear another track from the album, Carmen.
I've learned nothing, never counted on experience. Something's missing from my life because I love some words, but I don't understand the significance. I've been textbook with the physics of strain. I take lessons, but school has my brain. The facts of life are full of fantasy. The facts of life are full of fantasy. Oh, I'm a driver, I'm a car, I'm the oil and that's the start. I'm a map, but nowhere to go, I'll go far. The highway is full.
Heard like an odd bar or two in that section.
Size that lie outside my terms of reference. I tried to decide, but I haven't a clue. I looked around, but there's nothing to do. The facts of life are full of fantasy. The facts of life are full of fantasy. Oh, I'm a driver, I'm a car, I'm the oil and that's the start. I'm a map, but nowhere to go. White roads are lined with glass eyes. In cities you don't need to see, but the highway is simply a guide. But I let it think for you and me.
That icy organ kind of had like a Farfisa type sound to it, and I also love how that synth bass was like interacting with it. This has got kind of like that wind tunnel type feel, this hurricane feel, kind of like reminded me similar yet very different at the same time to those like wind tunnel numbers off the first English Speed album that I profiled a couple of weeks ago.
Passing the route from the road that's marked out for refugees, but the passage is restricted to those that live by the back door key. I learned nothing, never counting on experience. Something's missing from my life because I've lost some words, but I don't understand their significance. I've run away, but I come with my legs. I'd ask for my cards, but they never say yes. The facts of life are full of fantasy. The facts of life are full of fantasy. Oh, I'm a driver, I'm a car, I'm the oil and that's the start. I'm a map, but nowhere to go. I'll go far.
Huh, wow, that ended in a glass crash there. That's Carmen by The Passage. Yeah, very wordy band. And quite an interesting one. And trying their best, or trying his best anyway, to be quite creative with sound, with layering, with sonic nuances and such, even if only some of these experiments are successful. There's like one song on here, 16 Hours, which another highlight, yet it was recorded beforehand for their 1979 About Time EP. And that original recording is the better of the two. It's you can make out the lyrics better. There's just better separation between instruments and clarity. And on that earlier version, it segues into another number, Time Delay, and the two kind of form this epic. Their albums, I think, would kind of get better. Actually, the more red they put on their album covers, the better the music got. It would be like, like this one is basically all black with some white and red lettering. Yeah, black, white, and red was their color scheme. The second, a bit more letters. The third, very red. The ruby count. Yeah, the red count of the tracks. The number of red listed tracks on the on the English P directory rises in proportion to the amount of red on the covers. And then finally, End Flame from 1983, perhaps their best album here. Let's hear one more track since these are so short. This is Fear.
Tell us who else is
got that kind of quasi-tribal drumming that Joy Division used on some of their numbers, mixed with really spooky proto-goth meets like minimal wave type synthesizers. A sound somewhat reminiscent of that album The Bridge by Robert Reynolds and Thomas Lair.
They said, tell us who runs this place. They said, tell us who runs this place. They said, tell us who runs this place.
They said, tell us who runs this place.
And then we thought, are they from down the road? And then we thought, are they from down the road? And then we thought, is this another trap? They said.
And then we thought, is this another trap?
They said, you're not very clear. They said. They said, tell us who runs this place.
No, I can see the remoteness of the mixing and such, and the distance of the vocals is actually working to the it fits with what's actually going on in the song. It seems to be like a couple of people trying to communicate across wind and fog in like in a tunnel somewhere, trying to navigate a dangerous situation.
They said, power. Power. They said, you're still not clear. They said, you're not being clear. They said, tell us who runs this place. But then we thought, are they from the back room? But then we thought, are they from down the road? But then we thought, is this the right word? Love.
Just got that really dark, fuzzy, distorted synth amid that hyperactive percussion and some like multi-tracked vocals. Yeah, and then I guess the only other element in this track really is that really shimmery, echoey type sound.
Love. Then we thought, it's always the same. Then we thought, things won't change. But then we thought, nothing to lose. So we agreed, tell them the truth. You go if you say that again. You go if you say love again. They said, tell us who runs this place. So we said, fear. That one word from their heart.
That one really bright, shimmery sound is almost like the harmonic equivalent of the 60s organ sound, yeah. That was Fear by The Passage, and before that, the tracks Carmen, 2711, and Carnal from their 1980 release, Pindrop, on Object Music, yeah. Quite a prolific band between 1978 and 1983. Pretty much, I guess, pretty much a revolving door lineup centered around percussionist, keyboardist, vocalist, arranger Dick Witts, who later became a lecturer. Yeah. For more Rubies and Sapphires from the catalog of The Passage, see the directory of albums by English P artists linked in the description below for Red Hot tracks and purples from all of the Passage albums and the EPs, as well as from the catalogs of many other great English acts, all the ones you could think of, really. The Psychedelic Furs, Penetration, Paddo, Peter Gabriel, Procol Harum, Pete Townsend, Pigbag, Paul Young, Pentangle, The Pretty Things, Peter Hamill, The Peddlers, Prefab Sprout, The Police, The Pale Fountains, Public Image Limited, The Passions. It just goes on and on and on. Pink Floyd, yeah. Like and subscribe, follow me on social media, share the video, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the 4 tracks we just heard, the production, the sounds, the tonal colors, the rhythmic quality, the lyrics, if you know them and have some observations you want to make about those. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear-troubled Tremax most, signing off.